Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Are you expecting any more guests, or is this it?
No, that's all.
This is it. Great, fantastic, nice, intimate devotee assembly. Thank you. We are pleased to mention that today on the Harinam Sankirtan, of course you're working. Your wife was probably busy also.
She's also working hard actually.
Is she working too? She's so very busy. Extremely busy, but between all the devotees today, the devotees on Harinam, besides blissful Harinam, devotees distributed 8 Bhagavad Gitas, 4 big books, that's Science of Self-Realization, 4, what are we doing now? Attention please. 4 Science of Self-Realizations, 21 medium books, 16 small books, and at least 15 magazines, for a total of 49 books and approximately 15 magazines. Total 64 pieces of literature, very auspicious. 64. Your house number is 64. Oh, there are more devotees coming, by the way. There's more people walking in the door.
Really?
Yes. There they come, ding dong. The news got around. Maybe it's all those people we invited on the street today. We invite at least 200 people on the street, so you might get at least an extra 50 coming, or maybe 64 extra here. They'll have to go in the inspiration room, though. There's not enough room in the room. Island, Inspiration Island. Or the Sunrise Island, whatever other islands you've got here. Yes. So it was very nice, and the devotees collected, we don't know exactly, but probably something around about 170 to 180 pounds for the books. Not bad. Yeah, that's with give or take, 5% differential. Maybe more or less. Hare Krishna, glorious. On Bhaktivinoda Thakura's appearance day, what a glorious service to render. To distribute the books which he so much wanted the world to see. Isn't it? And he wanted that everywhere the holy name be spread. Bhaktivinoda Thakura, one of his famous predictions, following in the footsteps of the Shastras and of Lord Chaitanya and others, of course, how Bhaktivinoda Thakura predicted that very soon the day will come, when in all the towns and cities of the world, in London and New York and Moscow and Paris and Sydney, Tokyo, all the big cities, including Belfast, the holy name will be heard, that the local people will be going through the streets with mridanga and cartels and flags and banners and chanting the holy names and dancing through the streets of all the cities and towns of the world. And they will come to India and they will embrace their Bengali brothers in Mayapur. My dear brothers, we have also surrendered to Lord Chaitanya. Please accept us also. And they will embrace each other and dance and chant Jai Sachinandan, Jai Sachinandan. Very soon the day, he said, this day will come. He said, when all the religions of the world will all flow like tributaries into the river of Vaishnava Dharma, flowing back to the spiritual realm, the whole world, in that river of Sankirtan, flowing back to spiritual world, back to Goloka. We're just starting this week the campaign. Some of you may be aware that we're in the middle of a campaign right now. I know you're going full force here in Belfast, and the campaign, it's called the Bhadra campaign. I'm sure you're all going flat out on the Bhadra campaign. How many sets have you sold, Amiyatma Prabhu?
0. I think, I might be wrong, but I don't think we sold them. Have we sold them? No.
You're equal top. You're equal top. You're equal top. You're equal top distributor.
Equal top. We're all equal, yeah.
Yeah, you're all top. Everyone's top.
All top.
Suchuru, how many sets have you sold? None. How many sets? None. How many? So you may not know. I don't know if you're active in this. How many sets? Or you've just arrived. We'll let you off the hook. We'll let you off the hook. How many sets have you? Sahari, how many sets? None. Dear, dear, dear. Maybe one of the reasons is you don't have any to sell.
That's also a reason.
That's first thing you have to do is get the books, isn't it?
Actually, the temple, they ordered recently 10 sets actually.
Good. They've ordered 100 sets in Dublin. They have none there either. But at the program the other night, they have no books, but we sold 6 sets at the program the other night after I made a little pitch at the end, and 6 devotees agreed. There were 6 people, I don't know who they were, I don't know, but they all agreed to buy a set. So, yeah, if anyone wants a set of Srimad Bhagavatams, I don't know, they're just now coming soon, right? So we have one.
We gave our account to Dublin, they combined everything, and they generally order for us as well.
Yeah, so they've ordered 100 sets.
Yes, sir.
They're on their way, apparently, just now coming. They haven't been printed yet, but anyway, they're on their way. They're still working out where to print them. India or Turkey or somewhere else. But they won't be long.
I was recently hearing it will take 1.5 years from the time of order.
Well, that's it, because they haven't printed them. They've got to print them first. That's what happened with our French ones. We sold 200 sets a year before they were printed. Well, within the year before they were printed.
That's how you do business, Maharaj.
Huh?
That's a good way of doing business.
Well, yes and no. We gave everybody sets of Bhagavatams. We were very fastidious, careful to make sure everyone got their sets. So you can do that, but people have to have trust, of course. And now this week, the Go to Goloka campaign will start. The Go to Goloka campaign is to distribute from now on to the end of the year as many, I don't know what the number is this year. The Bhagavatam sets worldwide is 68,000 sets. 68,000, so you can do your quota here. I don't know how much the quota is for Belfast. But the Bhagavad Gita, I don't know what numbers they're going for this year. I don't know if anyone's heard. Last year it was several million, I don't know what it was. So I'm not sure what it is this year. But that starts to distribute Bhagavad Gitas en masse, widely everywhere, all over the world. So that definitely you can do here. We saw today so many people, wasn't it? The first person who went by the book table as we just set up and we're doing Harinam chanting, first lady, a very wonderful lady, I mean her daughter, she immediately, she stopped and Jivananda talked to her, and she was from America, but a teacher, maybe staying here in Belfast, and she took all the books, one of each, right, more or less, and she gave £50, the first lady who came, immediately. So she took Gita and SSR and this one and that one, all the small books and what have you. So like that, there's people, so many. Belfast is such a nice place for book distribution. You cannot imagine how nice it is. I mean, if you want to know how nice it is, come and spend a week in Paris trying to distribute books. Then you'll really appreciate Belfast. You think that's a good idea, man, Jivananda?
Yeah.
I think you can all come spend a week in Paris and just see what it's like there. If they speak, even the ones who speak English, it doesn't make much difference. You'll be lucky. The best thing you normally get is non merci, non merci, non merci, non merci, non merci. That's the polite ones. No thank you, it means no mercy. No thank you, it's a funny language. We're trying to give them mercy and they just keep saying, no thank you, I don't want mercy. But, anyway, it's good to give it a go. If anyone wants to come and spend a nice week in December in the freezing cold on the streets of Paris distributing books, you're welcome to join us. It's blissful. It's surrender. Anyway, let's get back to Bhaktivinoda Thakura. He wanted very much these books to be distributed widely. In fact, he sent books. He was the first Gaudiya Vaishnava to send literature to the Western world. 1896, he sent one little book, Lord Chaitanya's Life and Precepts or something like that. He sent that to many places. He sent it to London Library, the British Library, and in London and Montreal University, and quite a few universities in the West received a little tiny book. First time a Gaudiya Vaishnava literature went to the Western world, outside of the Indian subcontinent. And then his son, Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj, sent disciples to the West. They tried, they did a little bit here and there, in England and Germany, a little bit in Czech, France, one or two places they went. But they didn't make a big impression. Hardly any. A little tiny centre in London with one or two elderly European sort of disciples. They weren't following so strictly as normal, but something like that. But nothing very significant, nothing very effective, hardly at all. But then Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj's disciple, Srila Prabhupada, founded ISKCON. He personally came. Then he established Krishna consciousness. So Bhaktivinoda Thakura around about 1893 or something, he wrote also, very soon a personality will appear in this world who will carry this message all over the world, unrestrictedly, and he will preach in all these foreign lands and bring people to Krishna consciousness. Very soon such a person will appear. And sure enough, the first 1896, the year when Bhaktivinoda Thakura sent his first literature to the Western world, our spiritual master Srila Prabhupada appeared in this world. So obviously it's pretty hard to argue, and Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj had already appeared in the world at that time. He appeared in 1874, so of course he also did and empowered Srila Prabhupada to do the same principle, but Srila Prabhupada, our spiritual master, personally did it and spread this movement, and we're just beginning. One day we'll have a lovely centre in the centre of Belfast, and hundreds and thousands of people will be coming in from the street to chant the holy name or whatever is there, take prasadam and so on. One day. We haven't seen it yet, but it will come. So today being Bhaktivinoda Thakura's appearance day, we'll sing some little songs, we'll talk a little bit. But Bhaktivinoda Thakura was also very keen on programs like this. As you know, it's called Namahata. That means the marketplace of the holy name. Nama is the name, Hata means like marketplace, meeting place, where people come together and chant together and worship Krishna together. So he established, amazing achievement. I mean, we'll hear about that a little later on. Many of these places. So this is also a follow-on. Harinam Sankirtan everywhere, book distribution everywhere, Namahat, or little meetings of devotees everywhere, and bringing new people in everywhere, all over the world. That was his desire, everywhere. So we're just trying to follow in his foot. Practically our movement is founded on Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's inspiration. So we'll tell a little bit now, in a few minutes, but Ma'am Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namani Namaste Saraswati Devo Bodhavani Vacharine Nevasesha Sanyavadi Pastachari Ma'am Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Namani Shibhashabhani Videvi Dayate Pipadde Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Dayane Prabhave Namaha. And I'm tired, I can't remember all the verses at the best of times, but certainly not now. Do you have a songbook here? Songbook, where is it?
It's just here.
Just here, okay. If it's close at hand, please give it. That'll be the quickest way to get it. You young gentlemen, do you live in Belfast? You're living here? Nice. Your two sons?
Oh yeah.
Very nice. What do you do here? Are you working?
Here.
IT?
I'm with operations.
Pardon?
Operations.
Operations? You don't mean hospital operations?
No, service sector, financial sector.
Financial operations.
Financial
yeah.
services.
Yeah. So you've got a professional job here in Belfast, like most of the doers here. And your husband is here?
No, he's out of country at the moment.
Is he?
They're also a temple congregation only, man.
They come to the temple,
Yeah,
for sure. No problem, that's wonderful. Never mind, I'll find it here if you have. I've got it here.
It should always be here, but I could not find it.
No.
But we'll connect it to...
No, I've got it here, don't worry. I've got it all here. I've got it. You don't need to do anything.
We don't have television, so...
You don't have television? What's wrong with you? There's something wrong here. They do not have a television. Why not? What's wrong with the television? Oh, it's only going to be a one-off thing, as quick as a flash.
Okay, maybe if you want to present any presentations.
No, I don't. I just want to speak. It's too much. I haven't had time. They don't give me any time here. Okay. So, we've just chanted Prabhupada's pranams. What was that? Bursting balloons? You have a balloon bursting ceremony tonight? We have all these balloons at the temple. Do you have a ceremony, bursting balloon? That would be fun, wouldn't it? Balloon bursting ceremony. Huh? They have one? That can be quite popular. Bang, 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 bang. Namaste Gauravani Srimurtaye Dinatarine Rupanuga Viruda Pasadanta Dvantaharine. Namo Gaurakashoya Sakshar Varagimate Vipadambara Sambhude Padambujayate Namaha. These are prayers to our spiritual masters. Namo Bhaktivinodaya Satchidanandaname Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanugavarayate. Namo Bhaktivinodaya Satchidananda Namane Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanugavarayate. It means, I offer my respectful obeisances unto Satchidanandana Bhaktivinoda Thakura, who is transcendental energy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is a strict follower of the Goswamis, headed by Rupa Goswami. So he appeared in this world in 1838, September the 2nd. He appeared in a village called Ulu, something like that. It's near to Krishnanagar, in Nadia, the district of Nadia. And he appeared in very opulent surroundings. His family were very wealthy landowners, and they had lots of other financial, you could say, means. And they had elephants, and they were a very rich family. But they were worshippers of Durga Devi, as many people in Bengal are. Which part of India are you from?
I'm from Punjab.
Punjab. So, where are you? Which part of India?
Maharashtra.
Maharashtra. So, none of you are Bengali. Oh yeah, of course. Hari is a Bengali. Hari is a Bengali. He's from Bengal. West Bengal, East Bengal.
Wait, East Bengal.
Bangladesh.
No, not Bangladesh.
West Bengal.
Yeah.
West Bengal. We still call it East Bengal, Bangladesh. It's kind of a new name now. So, yeah. He appeared there, and his family were worshippers, like many people in Bengal. They worship Durga Devi. Practically, they may worship all the gods, and due to the effect of one famous preacher or whatever, in Bengal it's become pretty much you can worship anything you like, it's all one, they say. But it's not a fact. They worship Durga Devi, but they may not worship in the right way, but they do worship Durga Devi. So his family like that, many festivals. Some of the family members were Vaishnavas. Some were worshippers of Krishna or Lord Ram. And Bhaktivinoda, even as a child, got the association. His uncle was a devotee, so he had his uncle's association. But some or another, as fate has it, as history goes, no one can keep their riches forever. You may be for generations, but in this case, it was destined that they would become not poverty-stricken exactly, but they would lose their opulence and lose their riches. Not only that, but most of the family members passed away. So many. The father passed away, grandparents, 4 of his brothers passed away, only had a sister left. There was, practically speaking, devastation in the family. They squandered a lot of the money away, they lost all their properties. Everything went upside down in a very short time. By the time Bhaktivinoda Thakura was about 10 years old, all this had happened. So he went through this, quite a strong transition in a few years, you would say, of surroundings around him. So he was brought up in that kind of environment. He was at the same time, his natural, let's say, capacity, his natural nature was not completely hidden. He was already a very scholarly person. He was writing even as a young child. He started to write at a very young age, writing various poems and what have you. He was very educated. He went to in Calcutta. As I say, the family weren't poverty-stricken, but they lost most of their riches. So they moved to Calcutta, at least his mother's side, and he studied there in Calcutta, and then college, of course, studying and what have you. But he wasn't particularly manifesting. When Lord Chaitanya appeared, he didn't manifest his devotion to Krishna exactly when he was young. He wasn't, well, of course he was devotee of Krishna, or he's Krishna himself, but he didn't manifest it exactly. He was more interested in nyaya and grammar and scholarly pursuits, So Bhaktivinoda Thakura was also a little bit like that, very scholarly and very learned. He studied and studied Western philosophy, studied the various religious scripts of the world, and at this point he hadn't really met or hadn't come in contact with, let's say, pure Gaudiya Vaishnavism. He'd met many so-called Vaishnavas, but they were not very impressive. At that time in Bengal, not only was it, of course, governed by the British, like the whole of India more or less, but at that time, Gaudiya Vaishnava had fallen into a rather, let's say, debilitated, no, that's not the word, degraded state. It was rather degenerated. And most people's impression of Vaishnavism was what is termed as sahaja, a very cheap form of imitation. The so-called Vaishnavas themselves were engaged in sensual activities of nefarious kinds, and it wasn't very respected at all. So his impression of Vaishnavism was not very high. It's described that he became very inclined towards the teachings of Jesus Christ, because Jesus Christ manifests that kind of compassionate nature, isn't it? Most people see him as what he is, of course, is ocean of compassion. It's a Vaishnava. We offer respects to such Vaishnavas, who are they're like oceans of mercy, oceans of compassion for all the conditioned souls. So he was more inclined there, and even a little bit of an inclination towards impersonalism was manifesting. Lord Chaitanya, only when he accepted initiation from Ishwara Puri did he manifest his actual intentions, his inner heart. So when Bhaktivinoda Thakura, at some point of time in his young age, he came across Chaitanya Charitamrita, a bona fide translation of Chaitanya Charitamrita in Bengali. And he said from that moment when he read that, he said, his natural anurag, that means one spontaneous attraction towards Krishna, arose within his heart. He became very much inspired, and everything became clear when he read that first edition of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. He was married at a very young age, actually. His mother, after the father and so many other members of the family had passed away, decided she should get her son married. In Bengal, maybe not much now, but in those days, in many places, especially in Asia, not so much in the West, although there are instances of that also, children would get married at a very young age. I don't know if any of you have previous families had this experience, but he was 12 years old when he got married. 12 years old. And his wife was 5 years old. 5. This, of course, would not go down in today's world. These type of arrangements are considered to be illegal, illicit, horrible, whatever people call it. But believe it or not, these type of arrangements, when done properly, are super excellent, because the girl only focuses on the boy. They don't live together. They don't really live like a married couple until she reaches puberty. But she's only knowing that this is going to be my husband. The husband knows this is going to be my wife. They don't think of anyone else. Not like now where they're like basically partner shopping, The girls are looking at the boys are looking at the girls. They're flirting, they're trying to check each other out. It's a really debased society we live in. It's a disgusting society. But what to do, that's the way the world is right now. Everything's all mumble jumble, with no idea what the real goal of it all is, no following of religious principles at all. So obviously you can't superimpose that on today's society, it just isn't on. But that's how it was then. And when his wife, and because they were the family were a little bit poor, so he didn't finish his studies fully. He got a job, he managed to get a teaching job. He moved to Aria, and he was working there as a teacher for some time. And he was married, he had a child, and moving around depending on what jobs or what posts he was getting. His first wife passed away, and then he got married again to Bhagavati, his very famous wife, who bore bore him 11 children. He had 12 children altogether. More others passed away, but he had 12 children, plus some passed away above that. In those days, they didn't have modern day conveniences in the form of, the horrible things we have now, like contraception, abortion, this thing, that thing. They didn't have them. So if you wanted to have co-relation with the wife, it meant you had to expect children would come. And consequently, of course, there were. He had about 12 children. That's quite a handful. Some of you are mothers. Hand up who's a mother. Who's a mother or has been a mother? Hands up. Who's a mother? 1, 2, 3. 3 mothers. So, you imagine having 12 children. I mean, you probably don't want to imagine it, but you can imagine it, a lot of work, huh? 12 kids, huh? A lot of energy, a lot of love. You've got to be constantly giving. I mean, there's no stopping. They're all different ages. They're not all the same age. They're all different ages. They've all got different natures. And your husband's working all the time. The mother has to look after them basically all the time. Of course, the older children help to look after the younger children. That's one of the facets of a big family. The girls usually, when they're about 7 or 8 years old, look after the babies. They love it, right? They love it. They love to look after babies. They see their mother doing it, their grandmother doing it. Maybe the grandmother's there as well, of course, to help. No doubt the grandmother is there. Family unit. So it's a big family unit. But they didn't have a big family unit because he was always moving around to get different jobs here and there. He didn't stay in Ullagram, which is where he was family born. In fact, the whole village was wiped out when he was in Calcutta by typhoid. Everyone died. The whole village basically being a ghost town. So that wasn't there either. Most of his relatives had passed away either before or during that epidemic. So then he was basically with his wife and children. That was basically it, going here to there. And he eventually ended up in Jagannath Puri. British government noted he was a very loyal and faithful and very efficient personality. Very efficient. So he gradually got posted here and there. And he studied a bit of law. And he became a magistrate in Puri, Jagannath Puri, Orissa. And he was a head magistrate practically there in the court after some time in Puri. The British really appreciated. He could deal with cases in no time practically. He didn't sit around for 6 years trying to work a case out, with raking in 50 million rupees or whatever they do, And then they're both dead by the time they get to 6 years. Both the accuser and the accused are both passed away before they make a decision. Then they make a decision after they've died and charge the family a lot more money for that. And anyway, it never ends. It's such a racket. But he was real quick. I mean, he could deal with 20, 30 cases a day. Boom, boom, boom. He'd just hear the evidence. Boom. Evidence. Boom. Like that. He was always right. He was, because he was so sharp, alert. By this time, of course, he was a practicing Vaishnava. Serious practice. He even said the day will come when the High Court judges, this will be a success of ISKCON, of the world Krishna conscious, not ISKCON, Krishna conscious. The High Court judges will in tilak and neck beads in the court. Then that will be a success when that day will come. Well, he was. And he was very, very expert. So expert. The one time the British government was very impressed with him because he was actually doing the work for them, basically. And there was a bit of an uprising. Sometimes there was some uprisings, it's only natural in the material world. So there was a bit of an uprising. It was headed up by a person named Bisika Shane. Bisika Shane was a mystic yogi. And he was really against the British government and he wanted to overthrow the government. He was a mystic yogi and he was really proud and he was claiming himself to be Mahavishnu or to be Krishna. And he was enticing. He was somewhere near Bhuvaneshwar. He was residing somewhere near there. And he was enticing many local women, in fact, to come and take part with him at night in what he claimed was a reenaction of the Rasa Leela. So this was going on, and it was a bit of a scandal. And he was also preaching against the British government. So this came to the notice of the British government. They asked Bhaktivinoda Thakura to check it out, because being a Hindu and what have you. So he went there to check it out, and he met this Bissikashain. He had a big bushy hair, and a bit of a yogi, and when Bhaktivinoda approached him, the fire was coming out of his hair. He had mystic powers. People were very impressed, people were really impressed by a little show of magic. You show a bit of magic and people think you're God or something. Walk on the water, fly in the sky, whatever it is, make some gold in the hand. People think you're God just by that, some small magic. So he was a bit of a magician like that, and people were worshipping him, and some people were worried and criticizing because they were thinking this guy's a dangerous guy. And so different people thought differently, but anyway, it's becoming a big thing. He had tens of thousands of followers, tens of thousands. So Bhaktivinoda came there and he approached him. He said, the man knew he was coming. Thakur, I knew you were coming. I know all about you. I know why you come, everything. I want to tell you something. If you follow me, I will make you the king of India. I will enthrone you as the king. We will kick out the British, and I will make you the king of India. He spoke to him like this. And then Bhaktivinoda Thakur questioned him a little bit more, and he asked him about Lord Jagannath, who was in Puri. Why don't you come take darshan of Jagannath? And he criticized Lord Jagannath. Lord Jagannath is just wood, and more or less I'm the living form. So Bhaktivinoda was furious. He is furious when he heard that. One thing to be, treason towards the British government, another thing to have mystic powers, another thing to be cheating people, but to blaspheme the Lord, that Bhaktivinoda couldn't tolerate. So he decided he was going to arrest this man and bring him to trial. So he came back shortly afterwards with British soldiers, troops, to take him away. So he came back, and the yogi said, I know exactly what you're doing. I know what's going on exactly. Don't think you can fool me. And so then immediately, fire was coming out and people all standing back. But Bhaktivinoda was fearless. He just went forward and with a couple of them had him arrested. They took him away in a cart and took him back to Puri for trial. And it was outrage. Thousands of people were all freaking out. So they got him back there. He was in prison, and finally brought him to trial. And he was saying, I'm allowing you to do this because you're my devotee. I'm reciprocating with my devotee. But you'll realize, and if you don't realize, you're really going to find out you're going to be in trouble, you see. And this trial did go on because it was a Maha trial for days. Many witnesses, many different evidences were brought forward. It wasn't an instant decision being made here. Days passed by, and he said, if you don't close this case, if you don't drop this case, the yogi said, your whole family will die, including you. And sure enough, that day, everyone in his family became so sick, including him. They all thought they didn't necessarily think they were going to die. At least Bhaktivinoda didn't, but the rest may have done. And many people were saying, drop it, drop it, drop it, you're all going to die. No. He continued on with the case. And although his health was being severely threatened by this mystic yogi, still he went through with the case. At the end of the day, the final decision was made, guilty. Guilty. And he had to be in prison for 5 years or something like that. Prison sentence. And then there was the crowd outside was roaring in anger when they heard what had happened. And then they marched him out of the courtroom. And as he was going out, one British officer actually jumped on him with a big pair of scissors and snipped off all of his hair. Immediately he collapsed on the ground. He lost his Shakti, or his power. They keep it in the hair. The hair is like some kind of energy waves. And he lost his strength, and he committed suicide in the prison after a few days. Gave up his body. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur he wouldn't tolerate any humbug. There was another time there, the king of Orissa, he was also a bit of a cheater actually at that time. He was usurping. That means he was taking funds from the donations of the Jagannath temple for his own usage. First of all, it came to Bhaktivinoda Thakur's attention, the temple standards had been reduced, and they were only getting very minimal offerings. So he said it has to be increased up to 54 offerings minimum a day. So they had 54 offerings. He brought it up to 54. The government, because they could see that there was some embezzlement of funds, they made him the commander, the temple commander of the Jagannath Puri temple. He was the chief magistrate. He had 12 kids, the temple commander of the biggest temple in Orissa, all at the same time. So they made him the temple commander. I mean, you have a hard time managing the Belfast temple. That's probably more than a whole full-time service, and there's nobody there, and most of the time. Maybe Harry's there. And anyway, he had this big task, and he found out that money was being embezzled, that the standards had gone down. He picked up the standards. The king was very upset with this, because it meant that more money was going to be used for, less money for him. So then he found out the king was taking money, so he told the government what was happening. And the king was really angry. And the king got so angry that he decided he was going to kill Bhaktivinoda Thakura, king of Orissa. So he employed these Brahmins to perform a yajna to kill Bhaktivinoda Thakura. They performed the yajna to kill him, and now, it doesn't sound very nice, but that's what happened. After the yajna was finished, the king's son dropped dead on the ground. Nothing happened to Bhaktivinoda. So like this, he was fearless, he stood up for righteousness, he couldn't tolerate cheating, especially of authorities. A humbug, he would call it. He would not tolerate any humbug. And he was living in Puri for quite a while. And whilst he was there, he established an asana called Bhaktivinoda Asana. It's not there anymore, unfortunately. I won't mention the history of that, but it's not there anyway. The places, the area, the recognition of its existence is still there, but not the actual asana. So that was near Haridas Thakur's Samadhi, just across the road. And then many things happened, so many things. He was writing, he's a prolific writer, prolific. He would write through the night. He would go to bed, it said about 8 o'clock at night, get up at 10, 2 hours sleep. And then he would start writing till 4 o'clock in the morning. Studying and writing. Then he'd chant the Maha Mantra and answer letters, take a little nap, take a little breakfast, and then off to work in the morning. Go all morning in the court up till 1 or 2 o'clock. And then in the afternoon, maybe again, or if not, he would go to the temple or continue writing. He was a prolific writer. He wrote hundreds of books and thousands, hundreds and hundreds of poems and songs, devotee songs, which are the basis of our Krishna consciousness movement. Tremendous. I mean, they never had computers, mobile phones, Google searches. None of these things were available in those days. You had to have everything from research, your own research, basically. And if ever you do read his books, you'll see that you just wonder where on earth any human being could write like this. It's not possible. Impossible. It's just like if someone's above, looking down, they can see everything that's going on. It's just like that. It wasn't like, what's going on? You're looking out, trying to find out. It's like a walking encyclopedia. That's why it's called the Seventh Goswami. We heard that just now. Following the footsteps of the Goswamis. They call him the Seventh Goswami. He was known as the Seventh Goswami. And prolific in everything he did. And then after some time, he moved to Midnapore. And finally, he got to be posted in Krishnanagar in Bengal, near Mount Nagari. He always wanted that. Moved around a few other places. The British government posted him in different places, here and there. One profound thing which took place, of course, in Puri was the birth of his, I don't know which number it was, I don't know, but Bhaktisiddhanta Bimala Prasad, they gave him the name Bimala Prasad's son, Bhagavati and Bhaktivinoda's son, was born there in Puri. And that's another story, but how he was blessed by Lord Jagannath, because he was the magistrate. When the Rath car would come past his house, he lived right on the street where the Rath car would go. The Rath car would go right beyond his house and would stop there. Sometimes it stopped there that year, wouldn't move. So Bimala Prasad was placed in front of the deity of Jagannath, and the garland of Jagannath fell on top of him. He got the blessings of Lord Jagannath. In this way, what else happened in Puri? But his schedule was so, he used to walk around with a stopwatch. You know, a stopwatch? I think when he and he would know exactly to the second. Everything was just to the second. You know, he wouldn't, everything was like clockwork in his life. He made it like that. Clockwork. And so regulated, so accurate. He did suffer from a lot of physical ailments, that's for sure. But it never deterred him. He continued with his great mission. And then when he was in Krishnanagar, of course, he actually got a house. And some of you have been there, Croston Godroom? Have you been there? Who's been to Bhaktivinoda Thakur's not birthplace, the house he has in Godroom? Have you been there? Some of you have been to the house of Bhaktivinoda Thakura. The British government built a railway line all the way from Krishnanagar to his house so he could easily come to his service in Krishnanagar. A little railway line right up to his house. Which they don't have it, it's not running now, but it was running until quite recent. I've been on it, on the train a few times from there to his house. It goes, of course it goes on now to the Ghat, practically speaking, to cross to Mayapur. There he lived. And that is the place, more or less, where he chose, where Nityananda has started. There's a beautiful song, which if you can put it on there, that would be nice. We can sing it. Let's sing it. A song, one of the songs of Bhaktivinoda Thakura. Where's our host? Where's Sucharu? Where's he gone? He always goes away at the wrong time. Where is he?
I'll call him.
You call him? Oh, it'll take me a second or two anyway, because the PowerPoint on here is refusing to work, so I've got to transfer everything onto a different system. So, Nadia Godume Nityananda Mahajan. You can probably find it on your modern machinery.
Oh, it's HDMI. HDMI.
Did we bring my cables? Check my bag. Maybe they're in my bag. I've got cables. I don't know if you may have a little port to change it from HDMI to this other style. Here.
This is the same as we used in temple.
Yeah, but I had my own cables yesterday. Yeah. I used my cables.
Yeah. Because Apple, no? It's not here.
We didn't bring it. Oh, we weren't planning to show anything else.
Can we use my laptop, Maharaj?
Yeah.
If you've got the song on there, but you'll have to transfer it. I don't like these things. Let me just look at Nadia. There it is. I don't particularly like these. Yeah, I'll have to save this on. Okay, no problem. Close that. Nadia Gurumi Nityananda Mahajan. Nadia Gurumi. So this song is a very beautiful song, which describes, I'll open it in a second, I'll just open it in Keynote, Apple Max, equivalent of the PowerPoint. Here we go. Here it is. Nadia Godume. Play. This song describes Lord Nityananda in this land where Bhaktivinoda Thakur's house is on the island of Godruma. The magnanimous Lord Nityananda has opened up the marketplace of the holy name. Oh, perfect. There we go. Just plug your boy in. Yeah, put your HDMI in there and plug it in. I've got one of those too. I didn't bring it. This is sufficient. Should be perfectly sufficient. Should be. If it works, if it fits. Does it fit? It should fit. Let's all say Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare. Any luck? There we go. Look at that. Isn't that marvelous? Isn't that marvelous? Look at that. Who's that? Why don't you draw the curtains behind it and make it even better? Draw the curtains. Can we do that?
Closing the curtain? Closing
the curtains. Does it work?
I think because the curtain is away.
Just take it as close as you can.
Okay.
Pull the curtain closer. Yeah, you don't have to pull it fully, but close as you can. That will make it even more nicer. Come over here, ladies and gentlemen. Otherwise you would not be able to see round the corner. Can you see, Silas, can you see through walls? Some people can. Well, maybe we have. Whoa, careful there.
Yeah. Actually, he's a top book distributor in Belfast.
Who?
Silas Strabo.
What happened today? He didn't do it today. You were maybe not here. We distributed, listen to this. This is Sucharu. We distributed 64 books today.
Yeah.
And the top book distributed today was Manjari. She distributed 13 books. Huh?
She will overtake Silas Prabhu.
Oh, Silas didn't do any today. He didn't do any books at all. He didn't do any. 64 books. And a collection of about £180. Just in a couple of hours, not even that. Down in the city there. And Manjari was like rockets. Nobody could get past her. She was everyone. Caught everybody. Fearless.
We had 2 book distributors, top book distributors.
No, well, we had others. Mahananda was out distributing. Jivananda did a few in between the kirtans. And who else? Damananda, you were distributing books. And Kalabati was distributing books. And Kanakam was distributing a few books. She did a few. But the biggest one was Manjari. These 3 were the big ones. They were the big ones. And one lady gave £50 for a bunch of books. Very nice. We 8 Bhagavad Gitas distributed.
Maharaj, should I arrange your laptop on the table that it will be easy for you?
Oh, I don't know. Nothing's easy. Leave it here. It's okay. Everything's... What you do is always some complications are there. So that's Lord Nityananda. He started what's called the Namahat in Bengal, going to the marketplaces and establishing these kirtan groups, kirtans, and opening up centres, villages where everyone's chanting. So Bhaktivinoda followed in the footsteps of Lord Nityananda, and he established over 500 Namahatas. Can you believe it? Now, the man, Bhaktivinoda Thakura, is writing. He's got 12 kids. You know, he's got government service, and he's also going everywhere preaching the holy name. Any one of these would be overwhelming for a normal person. Any one of those 4 items. And many other things which he's doing too. But those are the main ones. And so we'll sing this song. And how Lord Nityananda has opened up a marketplace of the holy name, meant for the deliverance of all fallen souls. O people of faith, O people of faith, by the order of Lord Gauranga, O brothers, I beg these 3 requests of you. Chant Krishna, worship Krishna, and teach others about Krishna. Being careful to remain free of offences, just take the holy name of Lord Krishna. Krishna is your mother, Krishna is your father, and Krishna is the treasure of your life. Giving up all sinful activities, carry on your worldly duties only in relation to Lord Krishna. The showing of compassion to other souls by loudly chanting the holy name of Krishna is the essence of all forms of religion. Jai. Okay, you can either look at the board or look at your mobile or whatever you want to do. Harmonium, Madunga.
No, that's enough.
I would like to thank the devotees who just arrived. We didn't. You just came, isn't it?
Yeah.
You live in Belfast?
Yes.
Working here?
No, not really. My husband is working.
Husband's working. Okay, good. You're also living here? Working?
Yes.
What do you do?
I'm doing my business. All business.
Business?
Kitchen. Yeah.
She cooks sweets.
She makes sweets and
I
sells.
bring some sweets also.
You have like a catering business or something? Nice. That's a nice service. The problem is that I can't reach it.
Okay.
I gotta tap it every now and again. It's too far away.
Should I help in tapping?
Oh, now I can reach it. That's good. Oh, this is
They all read Srimad Bhagavatam every day, Maharaj.
good,
My
good,
wife,
good, good, good.
She reads everyone.
Wonderful. Your wife's doing the online Bhagavatam reading is fantastic. Wonderful. Well done, everybody. Nadiya Gurumi Nityananda Mahajan Nadiya Gurumi Nityananda Nadiya Gurumi Nityananda Mahajan Need some help getting all this off. Got to take everything off around my neck. I'm sweating. Patiyache namahata jivera karan. Patiyache namahata jivera karan. Nadia Godrume Nityananda Mahajan. Somebody can separate the two garlands. There's two garlands. Separate them. Shadavanjane Shadavanjane Shadavan. Separated. Two separate garlands. Shadavanjane 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 Nadia Godume Nityananda Mahajan. Nadia Godume Nityananda Mahajan. Prabhu Ragai Bai Magi Bhiksha. 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 Oh, Bola Krishna, Bhaja Krishna, Kora Krishna Shiksha. 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 Aparada Shanyoye Lo Krishna Nam. 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 Krishna Mata Krishna Pitta Krishna Dana Pran. 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 Krishna da samsara kara Chadi Anachan. Krishna Rakamsara Kara Chadi Anachan. Oh, Jivedaya Krishna Nama Savadama Sa. Jivedaya Krishna Nama Savadama Sa. Shadavanjan Hey, Shadavanjan Hey. Shadavanjan Hey, Shadavanjan Hey. Oh, Nadia Godume Nityananda Mahajan. Nadia Godume Nityananda Mahajan. Patiyachi Namahata Jivera Kara. Patiyachi Namahata Jivera Kara. Oh, Patiyachi Namahata Jivera Kara. Patiyachi Namahata Godume Nityananda Mahajan.
Hariya Godume Nityananda Mahajan.
Hariya Godume Nityananda Mahajan.
Hariya Godume Nityananda Mahajan.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hello. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Nityananda, Nityananda, Nityananda Ram.
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 Hey Satchitananda Bhaktivinoda Thakura. Satchitananda Bhaktivinoda Thakura. Srila Satchitananda Bhaktivinoda Thakura.
Satchitananda Bhaktivinoda Thakura.
Srila Satchitananda Bhaktivinoda Thakura. Srila Satchitananda Bhaktivinoda Thakura. Srila Satchitananda Bhaktivinoda Thakura. Srila Satchitananda Bhaktivinoda Thakura. Srila Satchitananda Bhaktivinoda Thakura. Satchitananda Bhaktivinoda Thakura. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Don't take it all away. We might do another one afterwards. Let's see. So, Bhaktivinoda Thakura is there in Godruma Dweep. You have your 9 islands. Which room's Godruma Dweep? Which one of the rooms
We
is
did
Godruma?
not name like Dweeps, Maharaj.
Well, there should be one of them.
Yeah.
What is Godruma? What does it represent? Remembering, is it? Godruma, is it remembering?
Godruma is the place where Bhaktivinoda Thakur stays and it's
Was it
preaching.
hearing, remembering, chanting? Which one is it? Each island represents one of the 9 processes of devotional service.
Kirtan? No.
I know, I've forgotten. I may be wrong. You can look it up. Somebody can look it up. Which one there's Godruma we represented, some remembering, one island's hearing, one's chanting, one's worshipping, like that. Different islands for different reasons. We will put on the screen, if we can find, yes, here we go, Bhaktivinoda Thakura. I don't know if there's a picture of Bhaktivinoda, maybe I didn't put one on it. Yes, there's one. We'll put this picture on. There. Oh, it's not there. What happened? Oh, I've got to cancel the other one out first. That's what I have to do. Okay. Reduce that and cancel. Well, was it gone? I thought I already cancelled it. Open with Keynote. Okay, we're going from one style to the next. So we'll cancel that one out. Oh, it was so complicated. So whilst he was there anyway okay, I'll drag that down into there. Okay, well, that didn't work. My PowerPoint, unfortunately, is not working today. I'll try to copy that. I'll copy. I'll put it on the other one. That whilst he was there, one day he was staying what's called the Rani Dharmshal. Rani Dharmshal is in Navadvip across the river Ganga from Mayapur. And whilst he was there, he had amazing... Kirtan.
Yeah.
Godruma Kirtan. Yeah. Well, that's Lord Nityananda. That makes sense because Lord Nityananda, Lord Nityananda established there the... let's open with Keynote. He established there the marketplace of the holy name. So it's quite natural that the big kirtan would be the process. Okay, so as slide play. So there's Bhaktivinoda Thakura. Okay, so we keep that on the screen. For the rest of the program. And whilst he was looking across the river Ganga, and he had a vision. One of his tasks, one of his missions, was to try to establish the exact whereabouts of Lord Chaitanya's birth. We take it for granted. How many of you have been to what's called the yoga pit, the appearance place of Lord Chaitanya? You've been there? Silas, you've been there? You went there also? Nice. And anyone else has been? Of course you've been. You've been there many times. Many of you have been. Okay, so that's nice. So we try to take it for granted that that's the place. Not everyone agrees with that, by the way. If you go to Navadvip town, there are different, local, sadhus, Brahmins, sadhus, who don't agree. They claim that their place is the birthplace. So this was a lot of controversy was going on. Quite, you could say, prestigious if you could establish that place, and especially if it was the temple you were so-called managing. So Bhaktivinoda Thakura took a lot of effort to try to establish that place. And he wasn't satisfied. The course of the Ganga had changed and different things had happened over you could say over periods of time. And, Navadvip, he discovered, was a city of fairly recent origin, actually. It wasn't so old, across the river in Mayapur, but it wasn't clear where anything was really. So he was studying old maps. When the British first went to India, British always like to make maps. They like to measure everything and map everything out, I'm a real British man. That's why I was into maps. But they made all these maps. And in the maps, he was studying it. It didn't look like the present. What they were claiming was the site of Lord Chaitanya's birthplace was at all Mayapur. And then he found on the maps, actually, there was indication hundreds of years before of an area which was called Mayapur. So he was curious. But when he was looking across the river from the Rani Ashram one day, Dharmshal, he saw this effulgence rising up on the horizon, on the other side of the Ganga. And he noted more or less which area it was in. So he went in that direction the next day. He went there, and he took his spiritual master, his Siksha Guru, Jagannath Das Babaji, with him. Jagannath Das Babaji at the time was 125 years old. Now, people in the West won't believe that. And the Guinness Book of Records doesn't have any record of it. He lived to 140 according to local histories, which is probably a record for modern times anyway. Not really. There are many yogis probably said are living for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. They just aren't seen. They look like young people. Anyway, he didn't look like a young man. He was blind, more or less. He was being carried around by Bipin Bihari. His servant was carrying him in a basket, so he carried him there to this direction. They went in this direction. They made inquiries, and sure enough, more or less in exactly the area, when he saw that effulgent light, he actually saw a beautiful temple rising up there. Magnificent temple at Bhuta Mandir, this temple which was like, meant to be the place where the Krishna conscious movement would spread all over the world. So he went there, he found this area, and he was inquiring around, and certain local people were saying, yes, this is the place of Lord Chaitanya's birth. He found a small mound there, a little tiny hillock, and it was covered in tulsis, and mostly it was a Muslim village, and the Muslim people were afraid to go there. There were some various, superstitions and what have you. It was held to be sort of like a very special place. So he went there, and when he reached there, his spiritual master was Siksha Guru, Das Babaji, though he was crippled, he jumped out of his basket and started dancing on the spot and declared, this is indeed the place of Lord Janmabhoomi, the place of Lord Chaitanya's birth. And he was dancing in ecstasy, that confirming that this was indeed the place of Lord Chaitanya's appearance. So work was undergone, and over a period of time, funds were raised by Bhaktivinoda Thakura, and they started the foundations and a small arrangement later on completed by Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj, which is where we go now to honor the appearance place of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Bhaktivinoda established that as the very significant feature of the birthplace of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that was a very significant thing which he did there. So along with a tremendous amount of writing, he preached very strong. He was a very, you could say, a very accommodating preacher. Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj was more of a cutting preacher. Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj was more, you could say, strong in affronting or confronting contrary doctrines within Vaishnavism, without Vaishnavism. Anything which wasn't proper, which wasn't following properly, he was very much against Mayavad, against caste Brahmanism, against the Sahajism within the Vaishnavism, against all these various deviant sects which had sprung up all over the world, all over India, at least in Bengal and Orissa, amongst the Vaishnavas. Many were called apasampradayas, different types of deviated versions of the original pure teachings of Lord Chaitanya. So Bhaktivinoda's big contribution really was to establish the pure teachings of Lord Chaitanya, re-establish them in the world for future generations. The clear clarification of the real purity of devotional service as taught by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his writings, in his teachings, and in his life itself. An exemplary life of devotion. He also constructed in Calcutta a seat called the Bhakti Bhavan, which was like a holy place for the cultivation of bhakti. And he resided there a lot of the time when he retired from work, from his duties with the governmental service. He retired there a lot of the time. He spent much of his time there. In 1910, he finally kind of basically went into samadhi and renounced the world, basically speaking. He was living like a Babaji almost, living there in Bhakti Bhavan in 1915, 14 or 15, I can't remember, maybe 14. He left the world in samadhi there in the Bhakti Bhavan, and left the task of spreading Krishna consciousness to his son, Bimala Prasad, primarily. He had disciples, he had many different disciples here, and they had many brothers. We're going to finish with a reading, if we can, that is. And nothing's easy in this world, but we'll see what we can do. Is there anything on the board? Do you mind if I pull this out for a second?
Yes.
It'll be a jumble sale otherwise on my screen. I'm going to pull that out there. Save. Okay. There's nothing on the screen, right?
No.
Okay, now we can act and work somewhat. Bhaktivinoda Thakura, let's see. We could read many things. We could read his books about it. We could be all night reading, without a doubt. But we won't. He also actually, before I forget it, he made it clear in his songs, his eternal. Everyone has a position, you could say, in the spiritual world. We may not understand it. It's called Siddha Dea, our original constitutional relationship with Krishna. And there are different types of individuals. From Krishna expands in various ways. One of those expansions, the primary expansions, Radharani, we heard yesterday, of course. And on the male side, if you want to call it that, is Lord Balaram. And from Lord Balaram, Jiva Shakti expands. The various Shaktis. Jiva Shakti comes from Lord Balaram. Or Jiva Tattva comes from Lord Balaram. The Shakti Tattva comes from Radharani. But the Jiva Tattva comes from, the Tatashta Shakti comes from Lord Balaram, basically speaking. And there are two kinds. There's the eternal associates, who are basically various expansions of either Radharani or Lord Balaram, and they are eternal associates within the spiritual realm. They have no, there's no presence of anything but free will to bring pleasure to Krishna. There's no alternative. There's no duality in their consciousness, and they're called Ragatmikas. They're Parishads, they're eternal associates, Nityasiddhas, eternal associates of the Lord. They never ever, there's no concept of anything but that. Then there's another kind of jiva which also expands from Lord Balaram, to Tatra Shakti, which has the Vivinamsa. They have a minute free will, and we're in that category, to choose between worship or serving Krishna, bringing pleasure to Krishna, or trying to get pleasure on your own. So the material world's for that category if we decide to want to go our own way. So we're basically in that category. But by following the path of, let's say, establishing ourselves, or whichever way you look at it, different discussion is there, re-establishing ourselves in that plane of eternity, Nityasiddha plane, is to follow in the footsteps. We have to follow Mahajana Yena Gataksa Panta. We have to follow in the footsteps of the Ragatmikas, the eternal associates of the Lord. Now, when they come into this world, which they do, we heard briefly yesterday how Rupa Goswami, in the spiritual realm, he's Rupa Manjari. In this world, he's known as Rupa Goswami in his sadhaka form, teaching us the path to enter into the spiritual realm. And if we follow Rupa Goswami, that means we're following the path of the Manjaris. It's Madhurya Bhav. So Bhaktivinoda Thakura is very much in the party of Rupa Goswami. He's known as Kama Manjari, a very close associate of Rupa Manjari, assisting Rupa Manjari in the pastimes in the spiritual realm. When he appears in this world, and many times you see the eternal associates, they appear like ordinary people when they first come into this world. In many cases, even Rupa Goswami was serving a Muslim government. Haridas Thakur was born in a Muslim family. Tomorrow is his Tirubhav. We'll be having, hopefully, if we are able, having a class in the morning about Haridas Thakur. So he's another eternal associate of the Lord, as is Bhaktivinoda Thakura. He's Kamala Manjari. He's a Manjari in the spiritual world. Most of our acharyas are Manjaris. They're teaching this process of assistance to Radha and Krishna, not direct, but assistance to the devotees, the intimate associates of the Lord. So he's one of those. So he's teaching us his path of pure bhakti. And we're just, let's see, what was his poems? Let me see if I can find a poem. It's interesting, being tomorrow is Haridas Thakur's Tirubhav. He wrote a beautiful poem, but we'll read that tomorrow, about Haridas Thakur. When he was in Puri, he wrote that poem. And here's another poem. Okay, let's read this one. This is called Sara Grahi Vaishnava. Yeah, you can put it on the screen. It's not on PowerPoint, but it might come up. I don't know if it's going to come up or not. That I cannot say. It may not. I don't know. This is not a PowerPoint. It's not a keynote.
Should we keep in duplicate?
Well, if some of you know, I'm not familiar with putting documents on the screen. I work with PowerPoint. I usually put things on PowerPoint. I may have it somewhere, but I don't know where.
I'll just try, Maharaj. No. Screens. Duplicate, extend. Okay.
Some of you are computers.
Because mine is all.
You have to cancel it down here if you want to cancel that.
Extend.
This is actually Apple.
Then instead of alt, it will be command.
It's a Word document.
Alt P.
Command.
Command. Command? You say command and P? Is it? Control P? Is it?
Depends what you want to do. What do you want to do? Command C?
Generally, in my Windows, I use Control and P.
Then it's command P. But that's print.
Command C is copy.
Oh,
Windows P.
what is this, Maharaj?
Alt should
Yes,
be the
try the command and this one.
This one.
Together. No? Hold and
Yeah, this is the desktop one. This is desktop.
okay, so maybe this. Can you click on this?
I think you can just pass it on, Maharaj. I'll show you this one. So this one.
High-tech work here going on. Bhaktivinoda Thakura had none of this. Even with all our high-tech, we still can't remember a blooming thing.
Sorry. Actually, this is screen 2. This is screen 1. You have to drag. How you move the document, Maharaj? You can move the document
Where to?
here. You have to just move it on the screen.
How do I do that? Like, put it over there or something? What do I do? I don't have to move a document onto the television. Here, look. There's women's power coming in here.
So
Takes the intelligence of a lady.
yeah.
Here she comes. Here she comes. Software engineer.
Yeah.
Control C is just to save.
No, this is Mac.
It's a MacBook, but it's a Windows program on a MacBook.
Oh.
No, that is not working. It's not Apple. It's not
You probably have to put it on a MacBook program.
Check it online.
Check it in Google.
Yeah, duplicate screen.
screen share.
Well, everyone's getting excited now. All the IT specialists, the technicians, and computer whiz kids, they're all getting really excited now. Everyone else is bored.
Yeah.
Where do we get to here?
Yes, see. That's how you have to move.
He was also very expert, at preaching to the
But actually,
Westerners.
Maharaj can't see.
You done it?
You have screen share?
Have they succeeded?
Rujula, you might have screen
Have they succeeded?
partially, Maharaj.
Actually, it disappeared from here to here, Maharaj.
Thank you. Just what I don't need.
Actually, you have to keep duplicate screen. Duplicate screen. Just do it in Google.
Option is there.
That's why I always put it onto PowerPoint. Then I don't have to worry about these. Or Keynote, as we say in Apple Mac. He wrote one book called Krishna Samhita. In this book called Krishna Samhita, Bhaktivinoda Thakura, he also sent this to a famous Western philosopher named Ralph Waldo Emerson. Ralph Waldo Emerson was quite interested in Vedic knowledge, or in Indian philosophy, if you want to call it that. And he sent this book to him, but it was in Bengali. Emerson didn't read. Emerson wrote back, thank you very much for that book. I really appreciate your gift, but I don't speak Bengali. And so eventually, of course, it was put into English. And it's an amazing book because it starts off almost supporting, you could say, the Western ideology of creation and even of evolution, practically. And then he brings in the Vedic understanding as well, but accepting the validity of other philosophy, not just denying them in the beginning. Then if you do that, automatically they turn off. They don't listen to you anymore. So you lose the point. So he gave them, it's like he held their hand and brought them in, and then he presented the actual essential subject matter of the nature of the matter and spirit, and who is the supreme, and so on. Amazing book called Krishna Samhita. What are some of his famous books? Who knows? Bhaktivinoda Thakura's famous books. Who knows some of them? Pardon? That's a song. That's a series of songs. That's a compilation of various songs. It is in the form of a book also, but it's basically song. Let's put more of his kind of constructive philosophical books, or it's written for. I've mentioned one, Krishna Samhita. Jaiva Dharma, Prabhupada said, is the most essential book of all of Bhaktivinoda Thakura. Prabhupada really, if you read this, you'll see that Prabhupada has based much of his Nectar of Devotion, many of his books. The basic thread, of course, it's a translation also of Bhakti-Rasamrita Sindhu, but it's also based upon the teachings of Bhaktivinoda Thakura, who really is our Acharya of our movement today. So that's amazing, A to Z, and really looking into people's hearts, seeing how those hearts can be transformed. Similar as a corollary to that, which is a little more down to earth, called Chaitanya Sikshamrita, which he also compiled on an amazing script, Chaitanya Sikshamrita. In terms of the holy name, who can say? Famous book. He was very much into preaching the glories of the holy name and in the chanting of the pure holy name. The pure holy name, a book which he compiled. It's related to tomorrow, Haridas Thakur. Harinam Chintamani, exactly. The Harinam Chintamani.
Green.
And there he's presenting a conversation with Haridas. Bingo, as they say, or they used to say. Bingo, you did it. Wow, well done. Was it a little help of Google Guru?
Yes.
Yeah.
All glories to Google Guru. Google Guru ki jai. He's really the best guru in the world. Huh? He knows just about everything. Now he's being overshadowed by AI Guru. Is it A1? A1 or AI? A1. AI Guru. Yeah, AI Guru is so expert. What did we look up the other day on AI Guru? I asked a question in huh? Oh yeah. If you ever look in the diary of Srila Prabhupada, we were reading it the other day. It was the day of his writing his diary, and the date, everything was according to the day we were on. So I read this, and it started off, today is SR Day. Nobody, for the life of us, could work out what SR. I thought maybe Sri Radhastami, but it wasn't Radhastami, so it wasn't that. And it's in his diary as he was crossing over the ocean on his way to America. So we looked up, Jivananda looked up in AI, he inquired from AI Guru, and AI Guru gave quite an extensive answer and a really good answer. First class answer. I mean, I haven't got it here, but it's a really good answer, analysing what this could mean if in terms of Indians, in terms of devotees of Krishna, what it could mean. It really caught the whole thing well. And I even looked up one time in artificial, someone else did it for me. I said, can you ask what my eternal position in the spiritual world is, and see if artificial intelligence can answer? And God knows what he put in there. But it came back, for this we cannot answer, you have to approach a spiritual master to get the answer. What an answer, pretty good, huh?
That Swayam Bhagwan Keshav Maharaj was showing that.
Huh?
Swayam Bhagwan Keshav Maharaj was showing the same question actually.
Was he? He got it from me probably, because that was years ago. I was his mentor, so probably,
Yes.
he picks all these things up and he's an expert. Yeah. We don't need any more. We only need artificial intelligence. You don't need to think anymore. You don't need to worry anymore. Just, unfortunately, at the time of death, it might not help you very much, but anyway. So let's read a little poem just to show. Hare Krishna. So he studied, as I mentioned earlier, he studied British poetry also. So Cowper and all these people, Shakespeare. He studied them when he was a youth, at school and college. Alas for those. So he's following in the foot. I don't know which British poet this is, but this is the style of a British poet. I know which one, I can't remember. Alas for those that spend their days in festive mirth and joy. The dazzling, deadly liquid forms their heart for air employ. The shining bottles charm their eyes and draw their heart's embrace. The slaves of wine can never rise from what we call disgrace. Was man intended to be a brute in work and heart? Should man, the lord of all around, from common sense depart? Man's glory is in common sense, dictating us to grace, that man is made to live and love the beauteous heaven's embrace. The flesh is not our own, alas, the mortal frame a chain. The soul confined for former wrong should try to rise again. Why then this childish play in that which cannot be our own, which falls within 100 years as if a rose are blown? Our life is but a rosy hue to go ere long to naught. The soul alone would last for e'er with good or evil fraught. How deep the thought of times to be, how grave the aspect looks, and wrapped in awe become, oh, when reading nature's books. Man's life to him a problem dark, a screen both left and right. No soul hath come to tell us what exists beyond our sight. But then a voice, how deep and soft, within ourselves is left. Man, man, thou art immortal soul, thee death can never melt. For thee thy sire on high has kept a store of bliss above. To end of time thou art, oh, his, who wants but purest love. O love, thy power and spell benign, now mount my soul to God. How can my earthly words describe that feeling soft and broad? Enjoyment, sorrow, what but lots to which the flesh is heir? The soul that sleeps alone concludes in them it has a share. And then, my friends, no more enjoy nor weep for all below. The women wine and flesh of beasts no love on thee bestow. But thine to love thy brother man and give thyself to God. And God doth know your wages fair, this fact is true and broad. Forget the past that sleeps, and ne'er the future dream at all. But act in times that are with thee, and progress thee shall call. But tell me not in reasoning cold, the soul is made alone by earth's mechanic lifeless rules, and to destruction prone. My God, who gave us life and all alone, and the soul can... My God, who gave us life and all alone, the soul can kill, or give it all the joys above his promise to fulfill. So push on thy onward march, O soul, against an evil deed that stands with soldiers' hate and lust, a hero be indeed. Maintain thy post in spirit world as firmly as you can. Let never matter push thee down, O stand, heroic man. O Sharagrahi Vaishnav soul, thou art an angel fair. Lead me on to Vrindavan and spirit's power declare. There rests my soul from matter free upon my lover's arms. Eternal peace and spirit's love are all my chanting charms. So just one of his poems, very beautiful, poetic. You see how amazing, one of the qualities of the devotee is poetic, so he certainly had that as well. He had all the qualities of a Vaishnava. Yes, Hare Krishna. So we will sing one more song, and then we will finish, if that's okay. Is that all right?
Yes.
Any complaints? You can write your complaints, put them in the box afterwards, and give them to Sutra. It's all his fault, don't blame me. Let's see now. Let's go. Document. You're going to see a lot of stuff on the screen. Don't take too much notice of it all. So many things you see in this world, we can't take them all so seriously. What one should we sing now? Let's see. Something you can follow. You could sing Boro Sukha Keval Gai. It's a nice one, isn't it? And you're clapping your hands. You like that one, do you? Okay. Okay, I'm going to have to make... I have to duplicate it. Drag it down to the... No, don't worry. You don't know what's going on. You have to be quiet. You don't know everything, I'm afraid. There it is. I take it from there. Now we've got to open it in a different program. Open it in Keynote. Okay, it should come on. Any luck?
Yes.
There it is again. This is Lord Nityananda again. This is another song kind of about Lord Nityananda, you could say. And his glorious preaching mission. So we'll put it on play so we get a nice screen. There he is, Nityananda Ram Ki Jai. This is called Dalalaya Gita, the song of the broker. And who's working in the market, in the business market? You're working. You're in that market. You also in that market? Finance?
Yeah.
Yes.
You work in the stock market?
Yes, Maharaj. I support them.
You support them. Wow, you boy. You support.
She works in
He
City
supports the stock market. Okay. Some people support Manchester United. Some people support the stock market. The song of the broker. The broker. Who's a broker? Who are the brokers?
mediators.
Middlemen.
The middlemen. They shift the shares around, pass them on, sell them, move them around, whatever they do. The broker. You go there to get your shares. This is from another literature. He wrote many books which are full of various songs, and this is one of Vaishnava Siddhantamala. A garland of the Vaishnava truths, so to speak. Conclusions. So the translation of this, Bhaktivinoda Thakura says, I'm singing news of the greatest happiness. At the place known as Sarabi Kunj in Navadvip, the marketplace of the holy name has now been opened, and Lord Nityananda himself is the proprietor. Similar. Bhaktivinoda named his asans Svananda Sarabi Kunj. I don't know different derivatives, but that's what he named it. Such wonderful things are going on in that blissful marketplace. Sri Nityananda Prabhu is selling the pure holy name wholesale, merely for the price of one's faith. It's free. The holy name is given free, but you can see that some people take it and some don't. It depends on your faith. You have the more one deeper one's faith, the more likely one will take the holy name. Or you may get just a whiff. You get a whiff of it, but you don't really get it. Seeing the assembly of devotees eagerly waiting to purchase the name, Lord Nityananda first examines each of them to test their qualification. Then he sells them the name by bargaining for his price accordingly. So this is kind of like, we say, a bit of fun here. But literally, according to our faith, Krishna says, as they surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. So depending on one's sincere faith, Lord Nityananda reveals himself or reveals the holy name. Oh, my dear friends, if you really want to buy this pure holy name, then just come along with me. For I'm now going to meet with this Nityananda Mahajan. Thus you will finally be able to acquire the pure holy name. I will also take my due commission, and this way all three of us will fulfill our desires. A wonderful thing about Krishna consciousness without asking. When you receive Krishna consciousness and you give that Krishna consciousness to others, the receiver is very happy. You become very happy. And of course, Krishna becomes very happy too. Everyone benefits. That's our commission. The commission is not some, £10 or whatever it is. It's internal, spiritual bliss, happiness within. So that comes by passing on this mission to others, this message to others. That's the mission of Krishna, quite the pure holy name. We get the pure holy name. Where do we get the pure holy name from?
Pure devotees.
Pure devotees, exactly. And you have to go to where it's available, isn't it? Or we have to receive the process from the pure devotees, which help us to become eligible to receive it. We're not eligible at this moment of time. We have to become eligible, so they give us that process whereby our faith will grow and grow and grow, so we have firm faith, absolute faith, full faith in the holy name. And in all one's desires, there's a very nice verse in Yavan Arta Udapani Sarvatak Samplatodike in the Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna tells Arjuna, all purposes served by the small body of water ultimately served by the great reservoir. Similarly, one who knows the purpose behind the Vedas is the knower of everything. The purpose of the Vedas is Vedeshvacha, how does it go? Vedanta Krit Veda Videvacham. Purpose of the Vedas is to know Krishna. If you know Krishna, what's the point of the Vedas? You've already achieved the purpose of the Vedas. You're understood to be the knower of the Vedas. You're the knower of everything. Krishna said, one who knows me without doubt as the Supreme Personality of God is considered the knower of everything. So similarly here, one has come to that platform, pure devotional service. What more is there to be attained? I'm singing news in the market that has opened. Lord Nityananda himself is the proprietor. Such wonderful things are going on in that blissful marketplace. Sri Nityananda Prabhu is selling the pure holy name wholesale. We read that, didn't we? We're on the second page now. Sri Nityananda Prabhu is so extraordinarily merciful, accepting only one's faith in the holy name. He bestows the topmost divine bliss. When Nitai sees a tear welling in someone's eye upon chanting the name of Gora, he instantly gives his support to that person. Indeed, he bestows all divine opulences. That doesn't mean that simply if you cry or you chant, that that's necessarily the only sign. Is when the heart changes and the tears are in ecstasy, not just out of mundane sentiment or with a cheating mentality, but out of actual natural ecstasy, natural love for Krishna. He gives that person genuine realization of the pure teachings of Sri Krishna, as found in the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. While displaying all this inconceivable mercy, he pays no attention to one's caste, material wealth, mundane knowledge, or physical ability. Now, dear friends, please reject all of Maya's entangling snares. If you are a householder, then just remain at your home. If you are renounced, then just live in the forest. Okay, we have to go to the forest. Thank you, Prabhu. I have to go to the forest now. No more words. No more words having to deal with all the things of this world. Either way, nothing more will trouble you. We no longer need to fear the terrible age of quarrel, Kali Yuga. For the most merciful Lord Nityananda gives the holy name to anyone and everyone, even to the lowest among men. Bhaktivinoda loudly calls out and proclaims to all, other than the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, there is no other shelter. So you can see he's a great devotee of Lord Nityananda. He used to worship those deities. Specifically, he worshipped Radha Madhava, his family deities. He would worship Radha Madhava. And he himself was worshipping Gaur Gadadhar. Generally, we don't worship Gaur Gadadhar, but he did. And of course, there's reasons for that. He had a very close connection with Gadadhar in the spiritual realm. He had a very close connection with that aspect of Radharani. So he was worshipping Gaur Gadadhar, Lord Chaitanya, and Gadadhar Pandit, or Gadadhar Prabhu, whichever way, depends where you're from. But Gadadhar anyway, Gaur Gadadhar. We don't normally do that. That's usually worshipped by the Gauranagaris. Gauranagaris, they worship Krishna. They worship Lord Chaitanya as Krishna, as the enjoyer. And the real Gaudiya Vaishnavas, that's not at all their mood. He's in the mood of Radharani, not in the mood of Krishna. So they're considered to be a deviant sect. That Krishna's the enjoyer. He's enjoying, conjugal relationships in the form of Lord Chaitanya. That's not what Lord Chaitanya was mood. So anyway, they normally worship Gaur Gadadhar, but not always. Pure devotees also, if they have that pure relationship like Bhaktivinoda, is also worship. We don't imitate. There's no other shelter. So Lord Nityananda is the only shelter. So we'll sing this song. I think my cartels are on the ground. I'm not sure. I heard something go down. Maybe not. No, they're up here. Something went down earlier. I don't know what it was. Maybe something else. Maybe my mobile. I don't know what it was. Something went to the phone. Huh?
Again, I gave you.
Oh, you picked them up. See, you need a devotee to pick you up. There we go. Fallen cartels. Now they've been resurrected. Drink, I need water. I've only got a cup, I have no water.
Hot water, Maharaj?
No, anything will do for now.
Okay.
I've got avian water here, I think. Here comes the avian. This is avian water. French water, must be good. There it is. French water.
French Alps.
French.
From the Alps.
Either Pyrenees or Alps or somewhere in Ireland. One of these, supposedly, from some factory somewhere, probably. Some tap water. You know what they're doing these days. Boro shuker kabogai, Boro shuker kabogai. Boro shuker kabogai, Poro Shuke Kaborgai. Surabi Kunjete Namera Hatukuleche. Surabi Kunjete Namera Hatukuleche. Surabi Kunjete Namera Hatukuleche. Kudanitai, Kudanitai. Boromoja Kutatai, Boromoja Kutatai. Boromoja Kutatai, Boromoja Kutatai. Shadamule Shudanam Sehate Tibikai. Shadamule Shudanam Sehate Tibikai. Jatta Bhakta Brinda Bhasi, Jatta Bhakta Brinda Bhasi. Jatta Bhakta Brinda Bhasi, Jatta Bhakta Brinda Bhasi. Hari Kari Deke Nam Veche Daro Kasi. Hari Kari Deke Nam Veche Daro Kasi. Jadi Nam Kimbe Bai, Jadi Nam Kimbe Bai. Amma sange chalo mahajaner kati jai. 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 Tumi kimbe Krishna nam, tumi kimbe Krishna nam. Tumi kimbe Krishna nam. Tumi kimbe Krishna nam, Tumi kimbe Krishna nam. Dostarilo ibo ami puna bikam. Dostarilo ibo ami puna bikam. Borodoya Nityananda, Borodoya Nityananda. Shudavakta loye den parama ananda. Shudavakta loye den parama ananda. एक बार एक चक्के जाओ, एक बार एक चक्के जाओ. Gora bole nitai den sakala sambhav. Gora bole nitai den sakala sambhav. Den Shuddha Krishna Shiksha, Den Shuddha Krishna Shiksha. Jatidana Vidya Bala Nakore Apekha. Pratidana vidya bala na kore apekha. Ammani charimaya jal, amani charimaya jal. Tako banne tako natake janjal. Tako banne tako natake janjal. Oh, arnako kaliro boy, arnako kaliro boy. Chandale de nam nitai toyo moy. Chandale de nam nitai toyo moy. Bhaktivinoda Thakura, Bhaktivinoda Thakura. Bhaktivinoda Thakura, Bhaktivinoda Thakura. Nitya charana bina aranoi ashraya. Nitya charana bina aranoi ashraya. Boro shukke kabor gai, boro shukko kabor gai. Boro shukke kabor gai, boro shukke kabor gai. Shurabe kunjete namahat kuleche. Shurabe kunjete namahat kuleche. Kodanitai, kodanitai. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Kodanitai, Kodanitai, Kodanitai. Sukha kamo gai. Boro sukha kamo gai. Boro sukher kamo gai. Boro sukher kamo gai. Surabhi kunjite namat kuliche. Surabhi kunjite namat kuliche. Jite namat kuliche. Kodanitai, kodanitai. Kodanitai, kodanitai. Jaya Bhaktivinoda Thakura, Bhaktivinoda Thakura, Bhaktivinoda Thakura, Bhaktivinoda Thakura. Bhaktivinoda Thakura. Srila Sachidananda, Bhaktivinoda Thakura, Srila Sachidananda, Bhaktivinoda Thakura. Sachidananda. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Jai Jai Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Sachinanda Bhaktivinoda Thakura ki jai. Go Premanande. Hare Krishna. Jai.
His Holiness Janananda Maharaj ki jai.
Well, thank you for this evening and a chance to remember Bhaktivinoda Thakura. He writes in Bhakti Loka, another one of his famous compilations, Bhakti Loka's commentary on the Nectar of Instruction, that by hearing about great personalities one develops confidence, enthusiasm and satisfaction. So to hear about great pure devotees of the Lord helps us to aspire to follow in their footsteps confidently, with enthusiasm and with great happiness and satisfaction. Hare Krishna. Jay. So now we have a new book distributor. Anjari, did you like book distribution today? You like? You're very nice. Krishna was very kind. You can now start a junior book distribution party. Huh?
Not senior.
Pardon?
Senior.
Well, they're junior at the moment. Senior juniors.
See, junior, always junior. Senior.
Well, she can take the seniors out. She can teach you how to distribute books.
He look junior, but he's senior.
Yeah,
Senior.
that's a fact. I mean, we understand that, but still, from the relative point of view, from the absolute point of view, for sure, or even in the cycle point of view, we would say certainly not junior. One doesn't jump into book distribution just like that unless one has had lifetimes of preparation. It's not like that that one's going to convince so quickly. It takes time. Faith develops over time. Hare Krishna.
Would it be possible to ask a question?
If you want.
Yeah. We were just singing a bhajan, and in it was described how Nityananda is distributing the holy name wholesale. I believe the term was used there.
Wholesale, yeah.
Wholesale.
Wholesale.
So that means without discrimination, just
Yeah,
to everyone,
yeah,
and each and
absolutely,
every person.
absolutely.
And I heard an analogy once. I'm not sure if it's applicable here or not, but people don't understand the value of Krishna consciousness because a diamond cannot be purchased just by anyone. Not everyone has the means to purchase an expensive diamond, so people, they don't have access to this. So how do we apply this analogy? I'm not sure how we can. I'm not sure.
Well, most of that song is referring to his bargaining with people according to their faith. So everyone gets something. It's not like a diamond, it's all or nothing. The chanting or the spreading of Krishna consciousness is all auspicious, is a universal process, it's good for everyone. But most people don't really take it. They get something. They get a little tiny bit, but not much. You know, they just a small touch. Everyone who comes in contact, especially from pure devotees of the Lord, anyone in fact, who somehow or other comes in contact with the holy name, there's something there, there's some minute impression. It may not be such that they take it up as a, you know, as an active, let's say, process. They don't exactly take it like you take a diamond. When you see a diamond, you don't really get much benefit if you can't buy it. You, in fact, it may be quite the opposite. You become very upset and very envious or whatever it may be, angry, or you may even think about stealing it or something. But with the holy name, it's different. Everyone who comes in contact, even if they don't want it, if they may be against it, but they get some, at least something is there, some small percentage, if nothing more. Everyone gets, Lord Nityananda, all merciful, everyone gets some benefit, absolutely everybody, matter of degree. Those who are more ready, those who have more faith, of course, will take it on fully. They'll grasp it, and they'll go deeper with the pure holy name. They'll take up the chanting and so on. Most people won't take up the chanting, but they'll get something. They may have said Krishna's name, they've heard Krishna's name, they've seen those chanting Krishna's name. That image, that samskara, that impression is there in their heart, so it's never lost. It's never lost. Even if they just see the sanctum. But there's a very famous story, Prabhupada tells that story, isn't it, in Moscow. I'm sure many of you heard it, where their hosts have stepped out the door. But there's a very amazing story of this man in Moscow, and he says it's a true story. I've heard it from Prabhupada. He's just up the road from here now. So he always tells the story, well, I used to, of this man. He was an atheist, he was a real materialistic guy. He worked in Moscow city somewhere in some business. And he would see the devotees out chanting on the street in Moscow, and he really didn't like them. He just he'd make some, vulgar signs at them and say some bad words and go on his business like this, He really didn't like them. He just wished they didn't exist. Meat eater, drinker, you name it. So one time he was in his car, he was driving around the periphery of Moscow, and I think there's a very bad weather, it's foggy or something, and some or another, a lorry or something had jackknifed on the highway, Come mad. And he was too late, he smashed into the lorry in his car, and he went into a coma. For a long time he was in a coma, in hospital. They weren't sure if he'd survive or not. And whilst he was in that coma, this is a story he was told later on, and so it's told by him, obviously. Whilst he was in his coma, he suddenly found himself in the court of Yamaraj. He didn't know where he was, but it was clearly the court of Yamaraj. And they were trying him for his, sins. In other words, he's experiencing death and what happens after death. It was hellish experience. And he was being tried, and Chitragupta, the secretary, was reading out all of his sins. Meat eater, beef eater, liar, drunkard, one thing after the next. His record wasn't very good. Wasn't good at all. It looked hopeless, and Yamaraj was kind of like, whoa, isn't there anything good in his life at all? It doesn't look like it. Let me just look a bit closer. Oh, wait a minute. Here's something. There's something in Moscow. He saw the Harinam party on the street, and he was very aggressive towards them, very offensive. but he did see them. And somehow or another, there's a mark there that he saw the party regularly on the street. So then the next thing was, well, what to do now then? Let's see. Okay, Mr. So-and-so, because you saw the party, we're going to give you a chance. If you give up your offensive mentality and you take up Krishna consciousness, we're going to give you another chance. He didn't die, he saw this in the coma. Then when he came out of the coma after some time, and he remembered clearly his experience, he was completely shaken up with what memory was there of this experience. And when he came out of the hospital eventually, he went to the temple. He actually got initiated eventually. And he was book distributor in Moscow. He became a book distributor himself. So that's kind of an extreme example, and I don't know if it's absolute, but that Peter said he actually met him. He was actually a devotee in the temple, and that was his story. Russian people have a lot of stories like this. They seem to have a lot of mysticism in their history and their lives. You're from Lithuania. I don't think they're quite so.
Latvia.
Huh?
Latvia, yeah.
Pardon?
Latvia, married.
Oh, you're from Latvia. Okay, Latvia. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to say Lithuania. You'll forgive me for that. Somewhat. Most of them are from Lithuania. We have several Lithuanians at New Mayapur, as you well know, here and there. So from Latvia, Riga. Riga?
Riga.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for...
So somehow or other, there's an opportunity. The opportunity is there. One is given an opportunity to see them again, or to hear them again, or to whatever, connect with the devotees again, if someone else sees them once, even if it's negative. Even if it's negative. You may have to suffer for the negativity, as he did. But the benefit of the connection is never lost. Something is there. It may not be in of itself like a major sign, but it's there in the subconsciousness. Yes.
Matt, how does the spiritual energy work that we can just pray to Bhaktivinoda Thakura and the Acharyas and they can hear us? It's very hard for us to understand how that...
Well, Krishna's in your heart. He understands everything. So he understands the intent. This is our understanding anyway, because Krishna knows everything. He understands everything. If you approach his pure devotees the right way, for the right reason, even the wrong reason, you may get the result then also. But Krishna is going to give you what you're ready for, what is beneficial for you, etc., etc. They put in a good word to Krishna, whatever you want to say, who can say on that spiritual platform of their conscious awareness of these pure devotees of the Lord, they're not like we are going through a cycle of reincarnations where we forget everything of our past. They're on the spiritual platform, they're with Krishna. They're his eternal associates. Yasya prasada bhagavat prasada, yasya prasada nagatika topi. Krishna sends them, and by their grace we get Krishna. So, Krishna, Prabhupada said himself, how does he know what's going on? Prabhupada said, Krishna, my heart tells me one thing. And he also said other devotees tell him. So their information is there. The Lord is in the heart. The Lord reminds each other of these things. He knows everything. Ultimately is Krishna, the benedictions are coming from Krishna ultimately. He's the one who's the rewarder, the protector, and the guide, and everything else. But when we please the pure devotees, we don't directly go to Krishna, say we go through the pure devotees. And in their present form, if you want something, you go through the pure devotee, please ask Krishna. Or we were reading the other day how we approach Prabhupada, saying we approach Radharani because she's very dear to Krishna. My dear Radharani, if we can please Radharani, please put a good word in for Krishna, to Krishna. Like that, we go through the pure devotees. This was even during Lord Chaitanya's time. Raghunath Das would go through Sut Damodar Goswami. Oftentimes the devotees go through another pure devotee of the Lord to approach the Lord. Like that. So we do too. So how it works, that's the divinity. If you can see something, you can see it. If you can't see it, you can't see it. Pure devotees of Trikalagya, they can see. They don't have to They don't have to kind of like, just hear it. They can actually experience, they can actually see. They're above the modes of nature. Somebody's above the clouds, or let's say somebody's above the forest, can see where you are in the forest. Somebody's above the maze, can see where you are in the maze. These pure devotees can see where we're at, and they can see what our motive is also. They can see what we want, and what our motive for achieving it is, and if they're doing the right thing. How it works. Everything works under the control of Krishna. Krishna is controlled by his pure devotees of the Lord. Prabhupada was praying, we read that the other day in Dublin, that my Lord, all living entities have come under the illusory energy by your will, and by your will they can all be released. It is my desire that they be released. My Lord, I am praying to you, please give them the understanding so they can understand this message of Srimad Bhagavatam. For by understanding this message of Srimad Bhagavatam, all living entities will be liberated from the clutches of birth and death. So the pure devotees are praying for that also. Even if you don't pray to them, they're praying for you. They're always trying to help us. And naturally is a reciprocation, so it's natural. Prabhupada said, I'm in my picture, so we're praying to him in various ways with us. But Prabhupada, of course, is a link which we have through which we have our own initiating gurus maybe, but Prabhupada is our primary Siksha guru. We may have a Diksha. Bhaktivinoda Thakura had a Diksha guru, but his Diksha guru was not his primary guru. Primary guru was his Siksha guru, Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. Bipin Bihari, or I get the middle of, I think it was Bipin Bihari also, was his Diksha guru. But he didn't disrespect him, but he didn't follow him particularly. He had a slightly different aspect of, let's say, of the devotional line, which Bhaktivinoda wasn't in favour of. So he was more in favour of following the line of Jagannath Das Babaji. Don't know how it works. How does everything work by Krishna's arrangement? Everything goes on under Krishna's arrangement. Prabhupada said, any sincere prayer will never go in vain. Any sincere prayer will never go in vain. Krishna will hear it, for sure. When he's pleased, he hears any sincere prayer. But how he reciprocates, that may not always be understood to us immediately, but later on one understands that Krishna is actually clearing our path from obstacles or things that may cause us attachments in the future if they should come our way. He knows what's best for us. He knows what we can take. He knows what we need. So, like an expert physician or something, he gives us what we really need, or at least offers us what we need to progress. Hare Krishna. Okay, it's getting very late. It's 9:15, and I'm sure bells are starting to rumble, children are starting to tumble, and what to say? We're going to get into a jumble. I don't know if there's any apple crumble, but now we have to be very humble and please don't grumble. When you get up, don't stumble, although I may fumble. Very interesting word, isn't it? The English language, how words rhyme with each other so easily. Okay, that's it. Thank you all for coming. I just no.